Hello students, I hope you all are fine. So today we will start with the first chapter of psychology. The name of the chapter is What is Psychology? I hope that you have understood little bit about psychology in the introductory video. So today we will move with our first topic in this chapter. Name of the topic is What is Psychology? Actually, psychology has so many definitions. So it is very hard to put psychology in a one definition. Sometimes we consider that psychology is a term that is derived from two Greek words, that is psyche, it means soul, and the logos, which means science, or you can say study of a subject. Then psychology was a study of soul or mind, but with the passage of time this term has established itself in a scientific discipline which actually deals with the different type of human experiences and behaviors, as it has wide range of phenomena. So this type of discipline explain two type of question, that what type of content the psychology is having and how it is study that content. So on the basis of these two pillars, we can say that psychology is defined formally as a science. You have to underline this in your book. It is a define of psychology. In this they are saying that psychology can be defined formally as a science which deals with mental processes, experiences and behaviors in different context. Context mean to say in different type of situations we consider these three elements that see here, that are psychology defined consider only these three major concepts. We'll discuss them in detail. As I have already told you that psychology is a scientific study, so whatever the data we are obtaining here regarding these three terms, that data we will place in a systematic form. Then after the analysis and comprehending the data, we came to the conclusion. So psychology includes these three processes. Now we will talk about these three terms in detail. Mental processes occur when we try to think something, when we try to solve a problem, we want to know something, or we want to remember something. These all things we do with the help of our brain. So these are considered in brain activity, like when we try to solve a mathematical problem. So in that form we are using our mental operations. Okay, we use our brain activities. These activities are not independent, these activities are always interdependent. In a common layman view, they consider brain and mind differently, but there is a difference between mind and the brain. Actually, the mind does not have any type of physical structure and we can't find its location. In mind only there are interactions and the experiences that we get when we try to interact with the outer world. But here also some type of mental processes occur. But the brain activity is clear to us, that how it functions, and we can see the structure of brain also, that you will study in the next chapters. Maybe you have experienced that whenever you are sleeping, you are having dreams during sleeping time, or you can even experience the things that are going on in your environment, like if someone is knocking the door, if someone is talking nearby, whether you are sleeping but you are able to listen them, you can experience that something is going on here. Mental processes include remembering the things, try to learn something, perceiving something from the environment, feelings, and psychologists try to understand that how mind works. Now next topic under the define of the psychology is our experiences. Actually, experiences are subjective in nature. Here the word subjective mean to say that it depends from person to person, like which type of experience you are having. Maybe that type of experience I am not having. My experiences can be different from yours, and your experiences can be different from your sibling experiences. So every person's experiences are subjective in nature. We can't say directly that this is the experience of this person, because only the experiencing person can be aware that what type of experiences he has gained in a particular situation. There are some another type of experiences that is known as esoteric experiences. These experiences only experienced by a few persons, like we can consider in this category the yogis who meditates and they try to enter in a different level, and the drug addicted person who are very addicted to the drugs and they try to get that type of drug to reach at a very high level. Even then these drugs can very harmful to them. Experiences are always depend on some type of factors. That's why our experiences are influenced by internal and external conditions in which we are living or in which we are interacting. For this we can take example like you are going in a crowded bus during a hot summer day. You may not experience the discomfort because you are daily going on the same way. So these are the experiences that every person experiences according to their own side. Our next one is behaviors. Behaviors are the responses and reactions that we try to show when we are engaged in particular type of activity. Actually, the behaviors are the responses that we are going to give our external stimuli. Stimuli mean to say the things that are present in the environment. It may be anything like if you are feeling hot, then you will switch on the fan. Here you are responding to the fan, so the stimuli will be your fan. Behavior can be simple or complex. Simple behavior we are able to answer very easily, but the complex behavior are those in which we are not able to respond or react in a particular manner. We have to think about the things when we feel ourselves to be stuck in a particular situation. Behaviors are two types, that are overt and the covert behavior. Overt behavior can be seen by another person. Suppose if you are in a tension and you are in a habit of shaking your leg. If your close friend observe your this symptom, then whenever you will stuck in a difficult situation or in an angry state, then your friend can easily guess that this time you are in a anger or in a tension. So covert behavior is that type of behavior that cannot be seen outside or by the observer, but you can experience it only as an internal. Like the example in your book is already given. Whenever you feel difficult situation while playing a game of chess, you almost feel your hand muscles twitching, try to experiment with the moves and all these types in which no one can understand that what is going in your mind. So this type of behavior is known as a covert behavior. Just always try to create some type of associations between the stimulus and the response, that why it is happening. Is it happening because of the internal circumstances or the external circumstance? So this association can be internal or external. Our next topic is psychology as a discipline. In this topic, we will discuss about psychology in terms of discipline. As we have already studied that psychology includes three aspects in itself, that is behavior, experience and mental processes. Here we seek to understand that how mind work and how different type of mental processes result in different behavior. Mean to say what we are thinking, according to that we are behaving. So why there are so many mental processes and what kind of mental processes we are having that are resulting in different behavior. If we talk about a layman's point of view, layman mean to say what the view the common persons are having, then we try to interpret the behavior and the experiences according to our own subjectivity. Here behavior changes according to different experiences of each individuals. Some try to give this explanation in scientific way according to the human's own experiences, that can be considered as more important because every person has their own experiences. So they try to justify their behavior according to that. In Indian tradition, people who try to understand psychology as a discipline, then they include two aspects that can be major source of psychological understanding, that is self-reflection, mean to say when we try to reflect ourselves towards another person, and second one is analysis of conscious experiences, mean to say when we are aware about our own experiences. On the other hand, many Western psychologists try to emphasize the role of self-reflection as in traditional and self-knowledge to describe the human behavior. Every psychologist, in spite of having so many differences in their point of view regarding the behavior, mental processes and experiences, they try to explain this discipline in a systematic and verified manner. Psychology, though very old knowledge of discipline, but it is also considered as a young science. There is also debate on this topic, that which type of science the psychology is. In India, the subject also fall under the category of science, both at graduate and postgraduate levels. We will read the branches of psychology also in our next topic in detail. Discipline has two parallel streams In first stream we talk about physical and biological science, and another stream deals with the social and cultural science. Under the second stream it deals with the social and cultural sciences. First stream, that is related with the biological principle, it explain human behavior in terms of some type of causes, that because of these causes our behavior occur. So in this we try to discover that type of causes, and for that we collect data in a systematic way. All these things happen in a controlled conditions, mean to say there is no influence by the external factors. The aim of the researcher is to understand the relationship between the cause and the effect so that he can predict about the behavior. For example, if someone is shouting, here we have to understand that what is the cause, that why the person is shouting, and what will be the effect. On the other hand, when we talk about psychology as a social science, then we try to explain the behavior of the person in the interaction that take place between the person and the social cultural context. Like I already told you that if a person is behaving in a particular manner, then there can be multiple causes behind that. So here we try to understand them. We will discuss these two streams, psychology as a natural science and psychology as a social science, in detail. As we know that psychology has its roots in philosophy, but psychology has diverted itself in a scientific application. So now we will talk about here psychology as a natural science. Where modern psychology has developed itself in a scientific method so that it can study every psychological perspective in a scientific way. Mainly the sciences always give more emphasis on the objectivity. Objectivity mean to say when we talk about something in a scientific manner and our theories or our conclusions are based on the facts influenced by physics. Psychology has grown itself with the passage of time, and it is based on a hypothetic deductive model. This model suggests that there are scientific advancements that can be placed only if we have a theory and we can explain any type of phenomena by that theory. For example, if physicists have a theory that is known as a Big Bang theory, it is about that how the universe came to be formed. Theory is nothing. Actually, there are some set of statements. On the basis of the theory, scientists try to propose different type of hypotheses. Hypotheses are the tentative explanations about a particular phenomenon. Tentative mean to say that the explanations can be changed with the passage of time. For this we can take one example. If one child reach late at school, then we can assume, or you can say that we can create a hypothesis in our mind that it may be due to some type of mishappening, or it may that child got up late in the morning. So these are the assumptions that we can say hypotheses that we have created in our mind when the child reached at school, and we clarify the things that what actually happened. After that we can conclude about our hypothesis that we want to retain or we want to reject our hypothesis. So in psychology, when we try to retain the hypothesis or reject the hypothesis, it is only based on the scientific data that we gather by using different type of methods. Using this approach, psychologist has developed so many theories related to learning, memory and attention. Most of the research in the psychology follows this type of approach. There is another approach that influenced the psychologist. This is known as evolutionary approach. This is mainly used in biological sciences. In this we try to explain different type of psychological phenomena such as attachment and aggression. So our next topic is psychology as a social science. Psychology is also considered as a social science because it studies the human behavior in social context. Psychology as a social science discipline mainly focus on human as a social beings. Here is one story that is given in your book with the main characters, that is Ranjita and the Shabnam. As they were in the same class, but their lives are quite different. So this is a story about the social relationship between these two persons and their family. So you will read this story by your own side. After reading this story, you will come to know that each individual grew up in different type of families under different type of social and cultural condition, but human beings are having the attributes or density of helpful and self-sacrificing in the crisis. As you can see this element in the story of Ranjita and Shabnam. But on the other hand, sometimes the people could become antisocial and indulge in some type of looting or exploitation. So we can conclude that psychology deals with human behavior and their experiences. Our next topic is understanding mind and behavior. Earlier, psychology was defined as a science of mind also, but it is not scientifically proved because we are unable to give some type of concrete behavioral terms. Here, concrete mean to say that are not able to give any type of structure of mind and its location. But after some time, the mind also returned to psychology. For this, there is a big hand of the neuroscientists like Sperry and physicists like Penrose. Mind has comes in the study of psychology. Then the questions arise here that what is mind? Is it the same as brain? Actually, this is correct that mind cannot exist without brain, but mind has its own separate entity. There are several interesting cases that can be seen which give the proof of the presence of mind. Some patients whose occipital lobes, which are responsible for vision, it's a part of our brain, they were removed surgically by the doctors. But after that also, the patients are able to respond correctly to the locations. Similarly, in the another case that is regarding the amateur athlete who lost his arm in the motorcycle accident, but he can continually feel his arm and he can respond to the movements also. The amateur mean to say unprofessional person who is not so much professional in his skill. So there are another so many examples that prove that mind also has its existence. There are another examples that show that mind has its own existence also. This way, the recent studies of neurosciences have clearly shown that there is a relation between the mind and the behavior. It also shown that if we try to use positive visualization techniques, in this we try to show something positive to the patient or we try to indulge positive emotion in the patient, then it changes significantly in the bodily processes. There was one case in which the person has blocked arteries. When the person was made to visualize the blood was flowing through even his blocked arteries, after practicing this over a period of time, significant relief was obtained by the patient as the degree of blockage in his arteries became significantly less. Artery is actually the part of our blood circulation system by which blood is conveyed from heart to all parts of the body. So use of mental is that are generated by the person in his mind can be useful to cure various type of phobias also. Phobias are considered irrational fears regarding the objects and the situations. So after this, a new discipline called psychoneuroimmunology has emerged. Here the psyche that is related with the psychological elements, neuro is related with the nervous system, and immunology is related with the immunity of the person. So this psychoneuroimmunology has emerged which emphasizes the role played by the mind in strengthening our immune system. So with this topic we are going to complete our first module. In the next video we will talk about our other topics. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.